Saturday, baby. Saturday. So, Saturday the 18th. Are you amazed? Are you surprised? Are you stunned that we're already on the 18th of the month? Aries time is about to go out. You only got 2 more days, Aries. You got up to the 20th. As a fact, let me look this up for all my Rams out there. For all my good Rams out there, you might be on the verge of extinction for the year. Let me see. Let me see. Oh man, y'all only got till tomorrow. Damn, Aries. Damn, Aries. But y'all represent it. Shout out to all my Rams out there. Shout out to my Rams out there. But we're already in the 4th month and we're almost out of this month. April only has 30 days. April only has 30 days, baby. But while we here, we're going to do the Urban Therapy with Sun show. And we got a goodie for y'all today. Today on the Urban Therapy with Sun show, we are talking about done made a mess of your life. Done made a mess of your life. Now, there may be times, first of all, I'm not talking to or about anybody specific. And I'm not even talking about anybody specific situation. But you may feel at certain times of your life when things aren't going right and plans aren't being followed as you wanted them to go, that you have messed up everything. When you think back on the relationships that you've had, the friendships that you've had, the opportunities that you've let go by or whatever, you might think to yourself, yo, if I would have only zigged when I should have zagged, or if I would have zagged instead of zigging, I might have had things turn out a different kind of way and wouldn't have made such a mess of my life. I think we all had dreams of fame. No, maybe not fame, but big fortune as we were younger. Every kid wants to grow up and be rich. Some actually fulfill those dreams. Most of us don't. I know I said I was going to have money. I don't got money. We doing okay. We doing all right. We hanging in there. But, I did have dreams of fame and fortune, though. Not just the fortune. I definitely wanted the fame. As a matter of fact, I'll take one over the other, which would explain this. But anyway, when you look back on some of the decisions that you've made in your life, you may determine that, I really, really messed up. The people that I had on my side, the woman that I had, the man that I had, the resources that were right there at my fingertips or at my disposal, they're no longer here. I done made a mess of my life. Look at you. And I'm gonna tell you something, man. I'm gonna tell you something. People who have made a mess of their lives, they get the brunt of the jokes. They get teased. They have people who talk about them like, yo, man, back in the day, he was the man. Back in the day, she was the shit. Back in the day, they had it going on and we couldn't nobody touch him. And look at him now. Got involved in drugs or never did this, that, and the third, or did this instead of that, or didn't hone their talent, or didn't go through with the talent that they had or whatever. And look at them now. They ain't shit. And a lot of times when people are talking about how you done made a mess of your life, a lot of times it's because they have compared themselves to you for a long time. So back when you were getting it, even if you didn't think that you were getting it at the time, they were watching you and they were comparing themselves to you. And in all reality, they may have been looking up to you at one point in time. And now they like, yeah, came up and passed them. I beat them. I'm winning. I'm winning. Hold on. People trying to get in touch with me. Hold on. All right, hold on. Family things going on here. So yeah. So they may be comparing themselves to you and saying how now they are so far ahead of you when you had all the advantages to be so far ahead of them when you had the chance and you just squandered away your fortune, squandered away your friendships, squandered away your marriage, squandered away your job, squandered away your opportunities, squandered away everything. So everybody used to be on your back and hanging on your nuts and just wanting to be part of your pulling on your coat strings, and you done made a mess of your life. Look at you now. Look at you. You used to be extremely handsome. You could get any girl you wanted to. Now look at you. You're a bum. You're a bum. You don't dress good. You don't look good. Don't nobody want you. You done made a mess of your life. Look at you. Look at you, girl, lady, woman. Had all the men trying to get with you. Can I get your number? Can I be your man? I wanna be your man. I wanna be your man. You know how it was when you were the it girl. A lot of y'all women know what it's like when y'all younger years when you were the it girl. And maybe you settled down with the wrong one, or maybe you got involved with drugs and were hanging out with drug dealers and damn near lost your life. Oh, man. There's so many ways for you to done messed up your life. For you to have done messed up your life. But we have to live with the decisions that we have made and trust and believe at the time that we were making the decisions that we were making, we believed in those decisions and we followed through with those decisions. Sometimes we weren't as dogged about it as we should have been. And other times, hey, we just were interested in the wrong things and we went through with the wrong things. We don't always know the consequences of our actions in real time. We don't always know that shit. Make sure everything's good over here. Oh, Lord. Okay. My little, not a big emergency, just little itsy bitsy teeny weeny, tiny emergency, but you know how it is. When you're going through it, you're going through it. And I'm always here to help. Yes. And how about that? How about the people that you know that were always there for other people, always helping somebody else out when they were the ones who really needed help and they wind up done making a mess of their lives? You were so busy out there playing Captain Save a Hoe, playing Captain Save a Bro. No, playing Captain Save a Hoe and playing Can I Save a Bro? Meanwhile, none of the people that you were out there trying to save, none of those souls that you were out there trying to save ever gave a shit about you. They took your help, they took your assistance, they took your money, they took whatever that you were willing to give them, and they in the wind, and you left there holding the bag, maybe even paying off the loans that you took out for them. But hey, done making a mess of your life or done made a mess of your life is one of those things that is very subjective. Because where you may personally feel like you done made a mess of your life, somebody else may be looking like, nah, you're doing pretty well. You did pretty well. Because it's from a perspective. You're not always going to look the same way to everybody. You're not, some people may think that you have everything, and some people may think that you have nothing. The people who have known you the longest, they may know something about your journey. And as they were following your journey and making assumptions, making judgments, taking notes, copying off of you a lot of times, making sure that they knew what to do and what not to do based on them watching you. Hey, it go the way it go. Oh, that's what's up. Thank you, Mini. What's that, Mini Jim or Mini Jim? You support my journey, but thank you. My journey needs support. T Carry right morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my peoples going directly into your site. I appreciate me some you. Do not think that I don't. Ooh, yo, we all will. We always something like this. Things in the sky we call stars, bars that I kick. Yo, I say stick to the plan and make sure you follow through, my man. And I won't ban anybody from here because I'm making sure that I'm making my words clear. Yeah, I've been around for a good while and I'm not that old, but I'm not a child. I'm somewhere in between. You could say middle age, but I'm 55 now. 56 is in the cage. Coming up in August 12th. You know how it goes. My health is something that I'm concerned because I gotta learn. It's my turn to make sure I shine bright and I make sure I concentrate on it. Yo, right? Understand where I'm coming from. Yo, I'm never out here being no bum. So I gotta make sure that I got a couple of dollars, even if I'm not rich, I can always holler now. All right. Where is Dr. Seuss Trump? Where is Dr. Seuss Trump? Oh, Dr. Jesus Trump. Where is Dr. Jesus Trump? I think he's at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C. I believe I saw Dr. Jesus Trump with the light in his hand, healing souls. I believe I saw him somewhere around 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C. I know there was a sighting of him there. Yeah. Dr. Jesus Trump. I like that. Dr. Jesus Trump. You know, somebody like Donald Trump has definitely not made a mess of his life, but I think that he may have contributed to other people making a mess of their lives. Maybe he has directly contributed to making a mess of other people's lives. Right now, I know a lot of people in this country feel like our lives are hanging in the balance because of the decisions that he has made for himself. And those decisions have been a lot of personal decisions. But hey, I'm not in that crazy man's mind. And he has supporters that support each and everything that he does. So what can we say? What can we say? I'm not a supporter of him. Maybe you're not a supporter of him either. But hey, he definitely has people on his side and they ride. Boy, do they ride. Stacey White, what's going on, ma? Good to see me some you. Good to see me some you. Thanks for coming on by. So yeah, we talking about done made a mess of your life. Done made a mess of your life. Let me ask y'all a quick question, since there's only a few of us right now. Have you ever been in a position where you really felt like you made a mess of your life, where you done made a mess of your life? Have you ever gotten to the point where you're like, damn, man, you know, none of the plans that I had for myself, none of the directions that I wanted to go are panning out. I just feel like I'm running on a treadmill. I'm just running on a treadmill and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm using a lot of energy, but I ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere. Like, damn, man. You know what I mean? And we all feel like we could do better than we have done. We all have a little bit left in the tank. One of the things that can mistakenly make you feel like you made a mess of your life is having health problems, man. Having health problems, especially if you feel like you've done something to contribute to the health problems that you're having, like drug use, like eating, not watching the sweets that you ate and stuff like that if you're a diabetic. You know, maybe taking reckless chances on motor vehicles, like racing cars or riding motorcycles recklessly. Nothing makes you feel like you made a mess of your life like being sick. and not being able to get well. You know, bad health conditions make you evaluate everything you've done in your life. Because nobody likes to be sick. It's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing to get into. It's a terrible way to feel. Speaking of which, you know, I work in a hospital, man. And, I see sick people. I see unhealthy people every single day. And some of the sick and unwell and unhealthy people that I see every day aren't the ones that are in the hospital. Some of them work for the hospital. So the beauty of their condition is that they get to go home every day, but that doesn't mean that they don't belong in a patient's place. So sometimes we have to remember to count our blessings. But not being well, especially having a terminal condition in which you don't want anybody to know about it, it can make you feel very isolated. And it can definitely make you feel like you done made a mess of your life. So let's say you were drag racing cars and you had a terrible accident and now you are paralyzed, either paraplegic or quadriplegic. At some point, you're going to be like, why was I doing that? Why was I doing that? Because had I not done that, I would still be able to walk. I would still be able to enjoy life. I would still be able to live like a regular person with movement of all their limbs. And you can easily feel like you done made a mess of your life when you can't walk around. You can't move. You know how they say that you got to crawl before you walk? Well, what's it like when you can't even crawl? Because one thing you have to have in order to crawl are legs. And when your legs don't work, you can't even crawl. You can forget about walking. Maybe you can pull yourself on a carpet and crawl that way. I'm not even sure if you would consider that crawling, but hey, shout out to any and everybody out there that suffers from paralysis. A lot of them have really strong upper body weight when they're paraplegic and they don't have use of their legs anymore. But it's a sad state of affairs, and it's an easy way to feel like you done made a mess of your life. You know how it go. Make sure y'all hit the like button, y'all. Do not hesitate to hit the like button. We're going to be doing this thing for a minute. We're going to wrap to y'all. I'm about to go get my seat. I'm not going to stand up for the whole time. I decided not to play no drums today, but it's all good. It's all good. It's all love. It's all wood. Everything is all right. Carla! My girl Carla. What's up, ma? Good to see me some you. You like this hoodie? That's what's up. I appreciate you. You always compliment me on my hoodies. I appreciate it. Let me see. Stacy says, I'd rather deal with my health than I have a roof over my head. Oh, you'd rather deal with your health than not have a roof over your head? Is that what you mean to say? He said, I'm praying for protection over. I don't know what you're talking about. It looked like you missing some words there. But it's okay. I'm going to go over here and get my seat. Now, man, let's go ahead and have this conversation. I'm over here getting the seat right now. Y'all can hear me, but y'all can't see me. Look, y'all can see some of me. Look, that's it. That's all y'all can see right now. Look, I'm over here getting the chair. I'm retrieving the chair right now. You know what I mean? Yeah, look. Wait a minute, you can see my shadow too much. Like, get the shadow out of there. Did y'all see me sneak? No way y'all saw me sneak past. No way, right? No way, right? No way. No way. Hold on, let me get something together here. There you go. Nobody saw me. Bad boys move in silence. I know nobody saw. Y'all was wondering how I got back over there, right? All right. Oh, prayer for protection over you. I know you like to race cars. No, the fuck I don't. I ain't never raced a car in my life. Yeah, I've, maybe made sure I went faster than somebody on the expressway or the highway, but no. I would never straight up race cars like, all right, vroom, The Lord don't want me to play around with my life that way. I have to find another reckless way to live. It ain't gonna be like that though. I like to drive fast, but I'm very conscious of the risks that are involved. And so, we ain't doing that. Carla said, I see you, son. No way. I know that there was no way you could see me because I was secret and hidden. Nobody could see nothing. So if you look at the poll question deals with a number of scenarios in which you could mess up your life. And I think that they're all valid. Now, of course, there are other ways that I know aren't on that list that you can mess up your life. But I chose those 4 because it's pretty much those 4 choices that I gave are pretty much, what a lot of people would agree can mess up your life. Now, we may not all agree at the same time on the ranking, but I think we would probably all agree that, using drugs when you're young, all the way into, adulthood, deep adulthood. Let's say you start smoking weed and drinking heavily when you were like a teenager. And then in your 20s, you started doing more, maybe more alcohol, maybe more weed, maybe no more weed. Maybe you start sniffing coke, smoking crack. We come from that era. It was a real thing. Popping pills and shit. Maybe even, shooting heroin in your arm. Come on, man. That there's never any good ending to that. Some people I know use drugs for years and then they finally kick the habit and they look good. But most people I know that messed around with crack in the 80s and 90s, they don't look good. And even though they may have come back. Okay. Hold on a second. And even though they may have come back from their addiction or whatever, sometimes the residue and the remnants from heavy drug use still hangs around. Like, I don't know if y'all know any crackheads that still have that crackhead look. One thing about using crack is that no matter how long you've been off of it, for a lot of people, you can still kind of tell that they used to do that. And it can lead to you making a mess of your life. What's going on? How you feeling, caller? What's on your mind today? Caller on the line. How are you?
I didn't know you was on. I'm sorry. I drifted off.
Okay.
Okay. How are you? I'm fine.
I'm doing great. I'm feeling like a real man should. I'm taking care of what's supposed to be taken care of.
Okay, that's good. I was just calling in. I'm dealing with my health issues, but I'm trying not to be bitter about it. Cause when I fix one thing, another thing comes. So I'm standing on a promise that God gave us. and I'm still believing for my healing. I'm still trying to eat right. I just got convicted today, just watching you from a few minutes talking about sweets. I have trouble in that area. But I'm trying to I hope you can hear that bell. I'm trying to just stay focused, because with my health issues, I don't want to get addicted to painkillers either.
Right.
And you could very well get addicted to painkillers while you trying to manage your pain. And so I'm trying to do all that and still serve God with a not a bitter heart. I see a lot of people so angry at the Lord and so bitter, and I choose not to do that.
Okay. So when we're talking about done made a mess of your life, like the health issues that you're experiencing, the health issues that you're experiencing now, do you feel like your actions or anything that you did contributed to your health problems now?
Well, not my. When I had that accident with my arms, I feel like I wasn't focused because I was doing something and focused on somebody else, and I believe that's how come I had the accident. As far as my overall health, no. God made it this way. I made a choice to serve Him, so I don't question Him or anything. But as far as my arms, when I had the accident with my arms, yeah, because I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, but anybody can lose their concentration on something, but it's not like you were doing something that made that happen, right? It's not like you weren't smoking or drinking or like.
No, but I wasn't focused like I should have been. I had somebody distract me, and it feels like a mess, I had a double accident because I wasn't focused.
So, but do you feel like you contributed to?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
If I had been just straight up walking in faith, not doubting God, listen to other distractions come in my life, I wouldn't have never made that turn. I would have been careful on how and what I was doing. Now it's like I am careful how I walk, where I walk to. I ain't trying to go back down that road again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already dealing with sickness that I had to be healed from. And people look at me, no, I'm not bitter at God, no, because I know what's going on. He's using it for His glory. So if I didn't have the Lord, I wouldn't have been able to handle, because sometimes I had to call out to Him to be able to handle me.
Okay.
I get frustrated. And for drug addiction, I be so scared of that. I don't want to get hooked on those painkillers.
Right.
And you're right, people do have a kind of spirit on them, at least a spirit on them. When you taking drugs, you can kind of look and tell. I thought it was just me, and I kind of could tell if you've been using or not.
Man, I know people who have been clean for double-digit years, and they still have that crack look to them.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to shake off. It's not. Crack, one thing about crack use, more than other drugs, is it really had a big impact on your personality and just the way that you look. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I thought it was just me. I'm so glad somebody spoke out on it, because I thought it was just me. And I kind of like tell, And then I like to drink, so I have to be careful that I don't want that spirit come on me with drinking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't want to get addicted to alcohol.
Yeah.
So I got too many problems I have to deal with, and I have to be careful with, and I'm trying my best. It's not easy. I'm trying my best. I think I'm doing a good job, but sometimes I be hard on myself.
Yeah, you sound like you're a little hard on yourself, because like I said, if you were using drugs or whatever, I could see how you would have cause to feel like you contributed to whatever. But I don't think that you're in a position where you've made a mess of your life. I
Well,
guess
no.
when I think of somebody, let me just tell you this. When I think of somebody that done made a mess of their lives, I'm normally thinking about somebody that nobody wants to help because they may have burned all of their bridges. You know, think
Mm-hmm.
maybe jerking people, tricking people out of their money, shitting on people, hurting people. And now they don't have anybody to help them unless it's somebody new. And everybody new who comes into their lives, they quickly find out that they ain't shit, because they got stuck in their selfish and deceitful ways. And so later
Yeah.
on in your life, when you don't have, when you maybe instead of working, you always robbed people or lived off of other people. Now here you are in your 60s and maybe even 70s, and you don't have no social security because you ain't never worked. So maybe you'll get the state social security and shit, but that ain't no real money because you didn't put no money into the system. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
retirement is not an option for you, but old age is. And maybe during your old age, you sick, you hurt. You know what I mean? Like you really done made a mess of your life. You ain't got nowhere to stay. You ain't got no house. You can barely afford the rent. You got to have your shit subsidized, public housing and all of that shit. Yeah, you can make you. Now there are people who are living that way and they haven't made a mess of their lives. They've just been poor their whole lives and maybe never broke out of that. But when you have come to that point in your life because of the decisions that you've made and because of the way that you've treated people, yeah, you done made a mess of your life. And ain't nobody trying to help you. What up, KD?
That's where that mental, that you can tell people that's like that have mental issues and they need to get that checked. Mental issues, and when I just love having a roof over my head, and I try not to get so hard on myself as long as I have somewhere to stay, and I
Yeah.
I deal with the rest.
Yeah.
Because I do get sick of this sickness. I really do. It gets on my nerves.
Well, when we talk about somebody making a mess of their life, it's very subjective. I'm going to repeat that time and time again as necessary because, like I said, what may seem like a mess of your life or somebody else's life from your perspective may not be the way that everybody sees it. Like for example, now this isn't directed towards you, but it may apply to you in some kind of ways. Like some people consider people who never got married or never had any children to have messed up their lives because they figure like when they get older, then they're going to be old and alone and probably sick and what I mean, be at the mercy of handlers and nursing homes and shit like that.
Hmm.
But the thing is, if even if you have children, there's no guarantee that your children are going to help you out in your later
No.
years. More than likely, they will. You know what I mean? If you've raised them right, you treated them right, and they have compassion and love for you. But hey man, I've known
Yeah.
some stories where the kids just put their parents in a nursing home. You know what I mean? Set it and forget it.
Yeah. You know. Yeah. Just because you have kids, that don't mean they gonna turn out and help you. I have seen it within my own family. You know how kids act like you ain't never did nothing for them. And you can also make a mess of your life if you spend too much money and get in a lot of debt and get in trouble.
That's true. But you can get out of that situation. You know what I mean? That's making a mess.
Yeah.
To me, that's making a mess of your situation. That's making a mess of your situation. You know. Now, if you have accrued a bunch of debt and you have never created a way to be able to even pay anything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's stopping you from getting anything more. Yeah, that's messy. That's
Hmm.
messy.
I wouldn't want to bring a child. I can't see myself bringing a child into the world and not showing me the same compassion that I show her or him back towards me and be just as cold and then put me in a nursing home. Nursing home is not nowhere to go. That's a horrible place, period.
Yeah.
That's a horrible place. When I was in there for rehab, I got treated real good until the very end. And I was so glad I was getting out of there.
Yeah.
So that's nowhere to have your parents be at, and now you don't have to put your parents there. That's where they go after trying to get healed. That's what people don't understand too. You go there after you get healed for rehab.
That's true.
But that's something not there. People don't understand. You got to go check on your people if you love them. Check on them and switch up the days you go because they mean up in there.
Man, nursing home is not the place to be. Now,
no, it's not.
My mom, when she was in rehab in a nursing home a couple of times, she got treated really well because we was coming up there all the time. They know who they can mistreat and who they can't.
Yep.
And especially if
they'll try you, and you have to, even if they tried me and I put one in place, and when I put that person in place, she was good. She left me alone.
Now, speaking of putting somebody in their place, now you may have been putting somebody in their place from a good place, but imagine if you was a shitty type of person and you and you not the type that listens to anybody, you know what I mean? So you a bad patient up in the nursing home, and so they just basically throw your ass away. Who gonna stop them? Who gonna stop them?
They do worse. I don't see somebody in the nursing home. They'll do you worse. You think you gonna do them any kind of way? They're gonna do you worse, 10 times worse.
That's what I'm saying. When they know you don't have any resources, you don't have no family, you don't have no loved ones, you don't have no support system, and you ain't shit. And that's an easy way for you to feel like you done made a mess of your life. Like, damn.
Yeah, but these young people these days with attitudes, they think they're the only one. You think my family is not perfect? I go through shit. I just don't be telling everybody my business. I learn how to forgive because I need my family. I need people around. I know I need. I can't do this by myself. God wants us to build, have a relationship with our family. He's looking for a strong family. I know the assignment. They get on my nerves. Sometimes I get on their nerves, but I still love them.
Yeah.
I still love them, I don't understand, these young people these days, they so mean-spirited.
Yeah.
They're very mean-spirited, and you will get nowhere with nobody being mean-spirited. Nothing good is going to come to you when you're being mean, and it ain't nothing good come to you by being mean. You will make a mess of your life. And one day, I don't know how because there's some people come to the conclusion they ain't did nothing.
Yeah, and they've been acting that way their whole lives. They've been shitting on people and acting like they ain't do nothing. They have never come to grips with the way that they are and the way that they affect some other people.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because the karma, the universe, and God be having some shit for them. Like, okay.
Yeah. Karma's not no joke. Karma works in good ways and in bad ways too. And I don't want to be at the end of a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I try to watch how I treat people. I try my best. I'm not perfect, but I try to get it right if I get it wrong. So it's just a work in progress. It's a work in progress. I don't want to look back over my life and be like, oh, I made a mess. That's why I'm taking my time. Just do I desire to get married? Maybe one day, I will have a family. But until the day, I'm not gonna rush it. I don't know what God is, slowing down on my part for.
Mm-hmm.
He sees something I don't see. So I'm not gonna force it. I'm not gonna force the hand.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's very subjective when you think about somebody that done made a mess of their lives. Because what might be a mess to you might be serviceable to somebody else. But we've probably all been to a point in our lives, where we were disappointed in the way things worked out for us because it didn't go along with the plans that we had for ourselves. And we may have felt like, yeah, made a mess of my life. Like I know, well, in a few years when my job situation and my money situation wasn't right. From really about 2010 to about 2017, not at the same level, but I definitely didn't feel like I was in control of my life, and that was the first time I had ever experienced anything like that, and I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't used to not being able to have the things that I wanted and go out and buy things and be able to pay my bills, comfortably and
Yeah.
and and, and be all right. But I never got to the point where I felt like I made a mess of my life because I knew I didn't. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There were some lessons
Yeah.
that I had to learn, and there were some trials and tribulations that I had to go through to make me stronger. Like I had to get my focus together, and I always knew that. But another thing is that the people around me always reinforce that, like you're gonna be okay. You're just going through a rough patch right now, whatever. But you got too many skills. You have too many. You have too much talent. You have too much going on for yourself to really be a bum or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it takes other people reminding you of who you are so you can get back to who and what you really are. But
I have had that people around me, just reassuring me, 'cause sometimes you do need encouragement. Sometimes you do need validation. They say you don't,
you
but maybe
do.
you do. You
Yeah, I
do
mean,
need it.
yeah, people always say, you don't need no validation from nobody else. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that you have to always look for validation from them, but to there's nothing wrong with confirmation. Just
Mm-hmm.
like if you were feeling sick and you had symptoms of a certain condition or whatever, but you weren't sure, and you go to the doctor and they tell you, yeah, that's what's going on. Now you know what you can do to go about fixing the situation. So you got confirmation of it. I
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how we got to this point. I don't know how we got to this point as people to whereas we think that depending on somebody or needing somebody has become such a terrible thing. I don't think it
I,
is.
yeah, you know what? I had to learn the hard way when I moved over here. I've been over here for 8 years. I was always independent, but when my mother died, I had to learn how to ask for help. Because I was always independent. And my little cousin was like, "There's not nothing wrong with asking for help or asking, having somebody help you. There's nothing wrong with that." And I try to act when I do ask help, I just don't use them. But they give it to me.
Yeah.
And I struggle with, just being independent. I really do. I struggle with that. It's not nothing wrong with it. I just don't like. I don't want to take nobody for granted.
I
And
understand that.
people are not going to let you take them for granted anyway. You know. But
Yeah.
I just don't want to be that person.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a decent person, if you were raised right with good morals and values and just, a sense of decency, you're not going to feel good when other people are doing bad. Yeah, I don't know if you know. Do you know anybody that loves to see other people doing worse than they are or doing bad?
You know what I mean? I never seen that, but there is people that's like that because sometimes if I'm feeling bad, I'll post something because I don't want to just seem fake on my social media. I didn't have hoes. Excuse my language, Omar. I didn't have hoes was glad to see me down.
Watch your
No,
language.
I'm just letting people know that I'm human. I have feelings. I go through stuff. I don't. It's not. I'm not always winning.
I
But when I'm
understand.
down, they're really happy and it's like they clapping and they let you know.
What is winning to you? What does that mean?
Winning to me is succeeding whatever you put out to do.
Okay. All right.
That's what winning is to me. And I don't always win when I put out to do something. Sometimes guys see my plans through, but not all the time.
Mm-hmm. So, do you think that you could be broke and winning at the same time?
Um, yeah, but I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want to. I think you can, because as long as all your bills are paid, as long as all your bills are paid, and you got food in the refrigerator, and you got a little bit of money left over, yeah, I think that's winning. You might not have the amount of money that you want to have, but you're not broke.
Do you think that you can have a lot of money or be rich and be losing at the same time?
Yeah, because I have known people that had money and didn't have no peace.
Mm.
It could be the opposite
Mm.
way around. And I'm still trying to learn how to save money. I'm gonna win at this stuff. I'm not gonna stop. If I lost all that weight, I'm gonna know how to balance my money, because I know I could do it. I'm not gonna never give up.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm never gonna give up on that stuff. Yeah, because it don't sound good. You living, you got your little income and you don't have no savings. That don't sound. I don't sit right. That don't sit right with me.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
hear
it
you.
don't sit right with me. I mean, but like I said, I know what I can handle, and I cannot. I'm not gonna. God is not gonna allow me to go through that either. I cannot handle being in the street. My cat wasn't a street cat, and I ain't no street person. I'm a homebody. I like to have a roof over my head. So
Nah, I hear you. The reason that I
yeah,
ask you if you could have money or you could be rich and still be losing is because a lot of people think that as long as you have money, you have everything in the world that you need. Like, you
yeah.
know, for some
I
reason, people
mean,
have, I mean, especially in the United States, it seems like we have such an unhealthy respect for wealth that we'll
yeah.
excuse everything. You can't tell us about nothing. You can't tell us nothing about somebody who got a lot of money, and it's
But
crazy.
money don't make you happy though.
Well, a lot of people who don't have money think that it can, and even some people with money kind of reinforce that they couldn't be happy without it, even if they're not that happy with it. They'd rather be that
Yeah,
rich
I have been
and
on
unhappy.
both sides of the coin where I have had money at a time, and I have been on the side where I haven't had no money. Um, you have to seek that help from within. That don't keep you happy. Maybe for a moment. It's only for a moment. So I've been on both sides.
Okay.
Especially like when my grandmother and my mother were going through. I've been on both sides. You
Yeah.
know. So it's like just don't. You can't lose yourself in the process when you got money. A lot of people that got money, they do lose themselves.
All the time. And they feel like it's their right to lose themselves because the ends justify the means in the minds of so many people. It's like I said, it's crazy. Like even when Michael Jackson was alive, may he rest in peace. But when he was alive, I think a lot of people thought that Michael Jackson was happy or now, no, don't get me wrong, because a lot of people really thought that he was trouble because he didn't have a childhood. At least that's what they always say. They always say he didn't have a childhood. He didn't have a childhood. He was he sure looked like a kid the first time I ever saw him. But anyway, but I think a lot of people discounted his situation because of the money they knew he had and the fame that he had. They knew that he could get help for whatever problems that he had. So I don't think some people really took into consideration what kind of personal turmoil that he was going through. And I think that's why so many people were surprised when they found out that he had a drug problem.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Him and Prince had a drug problem.
Ain't
Why?
that
Because
some
they had.
shit?
Yeah, and I don't want to get like that.
Let me ask you this.
I don't want to get like that. I don't want to have a drug problem. Pain to make you would get addicted to that stuff. Like, oh my God.
Let me ask
No,
you this. Let me ask you this, and let me ask y'all this in the chat too. Which one of them surprised you the most about having a drug problem? Michael Jackson or Prince?
Michael Jackson for me.
Okay.
Prince, yeah. That didn't too much surprise me, but Michael, yeah, that
It didn't
surprised me.
surprise you with Prince. You know what? For some reason, I never
And
thought Prince. I never thought Prince was using drugs. He didn't. He displayed a regular eccentricity or craziness to me. He never displayed a drug kind of crazy because, when you talk to Prince, whenever he was interviewed, it seemed like he always knew exactly what he wanted to say and
hmm
what message he wanted to get across. Michael Jackson
yeah,
didn't do that. There was always
wow.
some mystery about when Michael Jackson was interviewed. Like you didn't really feel like he was telling the truth. You know what I mean?
hmm
But with Prince, because Prince was never involved in any type of scandalous situation, like any type of sexual assault or pedophilia type of allegations. So and Prince always looked clean, like he looked healthy every
Yeah.
every time I saw. So I want to say that it surprised me more when Prince to find out that Prince had a drug problem. But Michael Jackson used to run around with a damn with the surgical masks on his face way before anybody ever thought about it. Like, what's up? This weirdo is a germaphobe, but you can't tell me you take drugs and you a germaphobe. Turns out he was a germaphobe. He was wearing a mask and taking drugs at the same time. That's crazy.
Well, I always been a Prince fan, but it didn't. So for some reason, I was more of a Prince fan than a Michael Jackson fan. But for some reason, it didn't surprise me when it came to Prince. But when Michael, that surprised me. And I always told God, I was like, I don't want to be hooked on no drugs like that. I don't want to go out like that.
Yeah.
But and I still struggle with, I don't want to, because them killers, them painkillers, they are very powerful, but ain't nothing powerful than, who you worship. So, but I was surprised about Michael, not Prince so much, but Michael, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would have to go with Prince, but I'm not sure if I would have answered it that way 10 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I really was surprised when, to find out that Prince had a drug problem. And like Carla saying in the chat, she said, Michael Jackson had all those surgeries and all of that. Yeah, a
hmm
lot of people who go through surgeries normally do, mess around with substance abuse. I don't know why. I don't know if having all of those surgeries, causes pain or whatever. But if you look at and Carla is part psychologist, so she probably sees it a different kind of way because yeah, behavior in one area sometimes equates to behavior in another area. So I could see that.
Um, but yeah, I was more of a Prince fan than a Michael Jackson fan. Like I said, I wasn't. I really wasn't surprised. To me, I just wasn't surprised about Prince.
Yeah,
But I don't want to have that testimony messing up my life. And I work very hard, but then I don't want to be so hard on myself. My mother came downstairs because she was like, "Stacey, you scared me." I was like, "How I scare you?" She was like, "You were so strong. I don't want you to be so strong and you just break and have a nervous breakdown."
Okay. Okay.
So, well, that's the way how she, made me. My grandmother made me that way. So I'm like, I've always been responsible. I've been responsible ever since I was 15. So yeah, I just wanted to call in, and I wasn't talking about race. I know you don't race no cars, but I do know you drive fast.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah,
do know you drive
yeah.
fast.
I push up I step on the accelerator.
And you got to be careful because there's fools out there that can't drive. You might could drive, but that don't mean they can drive.
You're right. And it doesn't always have a lot to do with anybody else because sometimes you can like you could be driving too fast and have an experience a tire blowout and then it's a wrap.
Yep.
So yeah, but I'm conscious of that. That's why
Right.
when I'm pushing it, like there's only so fast I'm willing to go. Like I've never driven 120 miles an hour. Now for a lot of people, for the real speed demons, they're like 120 miles an hour. That ain't nothing because they've done, if it says 160 miles per hour on their dashboard on their speedometer, they're gonna try to get it to 160 miles per hour. Now most cars that say that they can do 160 miles per hour, a lot of them are just saying that shit. They might get up to 130, but 160 is extremely fast, and it can quickly burn out. Most commercial car engines aren't really built to get up to that speed because the amount of heat that the engine will go through, it could kill your engine just trying to do that. So I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, you just be careful. I'm going to continue to watch the show
All right.
and
Well,
enjoy the show. I like the topic. I'm not triggered by the topic today.
well, good. And thanks for calling in, though. I appreciate you.
Okay, y'all have a happy weekend.
All right. You too.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.
Good stuff there. Good call. Good call. Good call. My brother Time is in the house. Let me ask you, Time, which surprised you more about having a drug problem? Michael Jackson or Prince? Which one surprised you more? Michael Jackson or Prince? This is a good question. In my opinion, this is a good question. You know? Well, so hold on. Okay. Okay. So you said both, but Michael Jackson the most. Yeah, I mean, I could understand either question. I mean, either answer because, like I said, Michael Jackson was. Yeah, he used to wear the surgical mask. He seemed like he was a germaphobe. Like he ain't really want people around him like that. I'm like, he wouldn't put any toxins in his body, but anybody who would go under the knife that much and then deny that he even had the surgeries, like we can't see. Michael Jackson must have been high every time he said that shit. I really only had 2 surgeries. He said that bullshit. 2? Nigga, you had at least 2 on one nostril. Forget about the rest of the nose. He must have been high when he said that shit. Yeah, I'm going to put that question out in the universe, Carla. Because, I think we need more opinions on this. Who surprised you more about having a... First of all, any performer, any international superstar, we should never be surprised that they have a drug problem because that's such a mainstay in the industry. But for some reason, as big as those 2 were, I was like, damn, they was on drugs. Meanwhile, DMX was on drugs and nobody was surprised. We like, he's still on drugs? It surprised the hell out of me when Whitney Houston was on drugs. I did not want to accept that. Not my princess Whitney. No, no, no. Even to this day, I'm like, no, no, it was coke. It wasn't crack. Not crack. They're like, nah, oh, it was crack. I'm like, man, she said crack was whack. And my dumb ass want to believe her like she my sister, my girl or something. No, no, no. I be around her all the time. She don't be smoking no crack. She do sniff. I give it, yeah, she sniff every now and then. But she ain't like, it ain't like what y'all think. Caller says, right, son. And especially his doctor giving him four, um, giving him four and an IV and painkillers. So I thought IV was 4. I thought that was the Roman numeral. I got to get my shit together, man. I'm not doing right. I got to get myself together. Make sure y'all hit the like button. If any of y'all in the background, y'all hesitating to hit the like button by now, you just hating. Get it together. Get it together. Get it together. Get it together. Okay. Giving him IV and painkillers, so that didn't surprise me. Okay. Time says Michael Jackson the most because I wasn't really into Prince until I got older, and Prince looked like he was smoking weed or something. Prince was too different. To me, Prince always looked clean. And when he was in interviews, he answered the questions. He answered the questions directly. He got his message across. He always dropped some jewels, some gems. I don't know. I don't know, man. I am a mirror. What up? I said, Unc still got a fake chain. Oh, my nigga. Let me just tell you something about a fake chain. If you 55 years old, about to be 56 years old, why would you wear fake jewelry that you've had since you were 37 years old? I don't see why anybody would wear fake jewelry anyway, except for fake diamonds, because, we really shouldn't waste our money on that shit. But like a fake chain, like you gotta be a young boy because you called me Unc, and then you talking about a fake chain. So you honestly know people that run around here with fake jewelry? Why would I wear a fake chain at 55 years old, dog? Who am I impressing? Do I look like I mess around with young bitches? You know what I'm saying? You think a woman my age is going to be impressed by a fucking chain? I better have a house. I better have retirement funds. I better have some CD accounts and some money market. Like, dude, you gotta think. And plus, look what I'm doing. A fake chain for you? For a bunch of motherfuckers that I don't know? Fake chain? Let me show you something, my nigga. I've done this before and I'll do it again. This is April 19th. No, April 18th, right? April 18th, 2026, right? All right. Let me show you my Facebook profile. This should help. Now, this is November 30th, 2025. Same 2 chains, right? We're gonna scroll back. Fuck. Okay. Back. Hold on. What's this one? I don't have the chains on here. Wait a minute. Hold on, we go back. I know I got it on some of these. Did I have it on that in there? All right, this is 2015. I think this is 2015. Where we at? 2013. Oh, look at there. Same 2 Chainz, right? Fuck. Motherfucker, come on. That's December 18th, 2012. Let's keep going back. There's the chain. Oh, I don't have this chain no more. This was a 60-inch chain. All right, but what year we at? We at 2010? Let's go. One of these chains is here. This is 2010, January 2nd, 2010. Let me. See? That's when the beard wasn't gray. All right. Keep going. What's that? November 29th, 2009. See, 60-inch chain. It was so long that I could put it on my fucking, I could put it on my knee. All right. Woo, those same 2 Chainz. You see the date on there? September 19th, 2009. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, look at that. What's the date on there? February 28th, 2009. Let's keep going. Oh. My guitar hero status. Uh-oh. Same 2 Chainz. What's that year? January 23rd, 2009. Oh, we going back. Oh, that was my first profile picture. So going back to 2009. Same 2 Chainz. If they was fake, what'd I do? Get them remixed? You saying just because I've had something for a long time doesn't mean that it's fake? When it comes to jewelry, it does fucking mean that. It exactly means that. When you talking about metal jewelry, because it would have had to have changed in. Dude, this says Sun 752. You cannot get a fucking custom made fake. You know what? Believe whatever you want to believe. You a dickhead. You can believe whatever you want to believe. You need to believe that my chains are fake. I believe that you a dickhead. You definitely can't prove that my chains are fake. I can prove that they real. You can't prove that you a dickhead. Because you came here just to do that. Right? My man Clay said he going all the way back to high school. I've been rocking gold chains since I was a baby. I had my first dookie rope at 3. Nah, I'm just playing. Nah, you wasn't just curious. Don't start bitching now. Don't start bitching now. Don't talk about you was just curious and shit. That's like when you challenge somebody to rumble, you try to punk them, and then you realize that them motherfuckers is gonna knock you the fuck out. You like, yo, man, that wasn't even about nothing. I don't want no smoke. No, you want smoke. You want smoke. You can't tell somebody they running around here doing fake shit. You know what I mean? Then act like, no, I was just playing. No, the fuck you wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Nah, you a fucking nut. You a cornball talking about why you pissed. Ain't nobody pissed. I'm a grown fucking man. You playing games. I'm not a grown man that play. You saw my body image on. I ain't never been small. I ain't never not been ready for war. Motherfuckers don't fuck with me. physically or mentally. I don't let nobody do that. Nah, you wasn't just saying shit. You know, raging. This is who I am. If you would stand in front of me, this is what it would be. Now the question is, how would you handle it? Because it ain't sweet. Seeing me on here is one thing. In person, it's different. You know what? Speaking of being in front of somebody and it's different. When I used to go to wrestling matches, you know, on TV, you know, they look big, they look muscular, whatever. But even the ones that don't look big, when you see them in person, you be like, God damn. The first wrestling match I went to, I think I went to go see Pedro Morales versus Jimmy Superfly Snuka. And when I saw him in person, I was like, God damn. Now, mind you, I'm 11 years old. So, you know, you have to take that into consideration. But they were giant looking, even though they weren't like big and cut and all of that. But I was like, damn, these motherfuckers is big, big. Big, big. So that's how that's going. So, like I said, made a mess of your life. Because that's what we talking about. Done made a mess of your life. Man, now I would think that if I went to different podcasts, different live streams, you know, just trying to get attention, you know what I mean, saying any stupid thing that came out of my mouth, I would be looking at myself like I'd have made a mess of my life. Because here I am, a nobody, a bitch ass nigga, and trying to make somebody that's doing something look like they not doing nothing. Like, I would be like, yo, I done made a mess of my life. Look at me. Look at me now. Look at me now. You are going to point your fucking finger and say, there go the bad guy. There go the bad guy. Oh, man, my brother Todd, they call it Black Don't Crack. Man, we age with distinguishedness. I can't wait to embrace my salt and pepper, especially the salt. You know, it's funny because when I look at them old pictures, it looked to me like I colored my beard. I would never consider doing no shit like that. I ain't never put no dye in my hair. I ain't never, like, there's certain things that I just can't do. There's certain things that I just can't do. So Jimmy Fly Snuka, my all-time favorite wrestler. I seen him at the Boston Garden, the original Boston Garden, not the TV. Yeah, the original Boston Garden. Back then, when stadiums didn't have corporate names and corporate sponsors attached to them. So, you know, I saw wrestling at the Spectrum. And I don't give a fuck what nobody say. The way the Spectrum was made, that shit was made for events. The acoustics inside the Spectrum was top notch. Like they was, when I went to go see the Def Jam concerts and shit, Run DMC, like you would feel the bass. It would be like vibrating. It'd be like setting the pace of your heart. It was crazy. It was crazy. So yeah, yeah, man, you know, motherfuckers don't look the same when you see them in person. You be thinking people are short. You be thinking people that people are thin or whatever. Or you might think that they big and you see that they small as shit. But you can kind of tell. You can kind of tell. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You can kind of tell. But yeah, man, done made a mess of your life. How? How you done made a mess of your life? Man, at any point in your life, you can feel like you made a mess of your life when things just ain't going your way. And there may be plenty of times when things ain't going your way. But it's sad. It's sad when making a mess of your life is your own opinion and not the opinion of those who are around you. You know what I mean? That's a different type of that that um that hit different. You know, like when you get into a depressive state, you may have a lot going on for yourself, but when shit ain't right up here and shit ain't right here, yeah, you can feel like you made a mess of your life. And that's at any age. You know what I mean? With did any of y'all ever experience when you were young, you felt like you were too old to be doing some shit that you wasn't too old to be doing? Okay, let me give you an example. Me and my man was seriously rhyming in 94, 95. We was getting our routines together. We would write together. You know, we was sharp. We was sharp. Lyrics was, I mean, 93, from 93 to 95, you know, we was together a lot and we was sharpening our skills. We was ready to kill it. By the time I turned 25 years old, I'm thinking that I'm too old to be a rapper. Because I always looked at being a rapper as a young boy sport, like I was old, 25 years old. So my man, he ready to do this. He was a year younger than me. And here I'm like, nah, I gotta do something else because too old to be out here, you know, rhyming and all that thinking. Meanwhile, 2 years later, well, no, even that year, 95, Jay-Z was out, and Jay-Z 2 years older than me. So while I'm 25, I'm bowing out, Jay-Z 27, blowing up. How that work? And in 1995, when I was 25, when I was 24 and 25, Jay-Z was coming out with Dead Presidents and Ain't No Nigga. He had just dropped the Reasonable Doubt album. He was 27. I was 25. So I'm thinking I'm too old. One of the stupidest decisions I ever made. Cause I was good. I do my little freestyles for y'all, but my writtens used to be on fire. My writtens used to be on fire. I got a girl I can't get with you, but I split you in half and laugh while I chill and laugh in my bubble bath. Cause it's an actual fact that my cuts are burning. It feel good up in them sluts and butts are yearning. For my erection is warm and forms just like affection. It feels good when I do it, but I use protection. Not all the time. You know, you can't, you know. Anyway, the writtens used to be, you know what I mean? They used to be, you know what I mean? But, you know, so in 93, 95, I had my own business. I was getting money. You know, I'm talking like, you know, I wasn't super rich, but I like had, I'm talking like 30 grand to 50 grand a month. You can live off of that. Especially 93, 94, 95. See, I just got out of college. I always did something with my life. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't never been a bum. Never had a chance to be a bum. But I wanted rapper money. And I was good like that. Cool. So yeah. So it's like when you think that you haven't done the right things for yourself, even at a young age, it can affect you. It can affect you. You know, like you can start feeling guilt over a decision that you made. Like, for example, which one of y'all or who of y'all knows about the girl who got away. Or should I say the one who got away? So, you might be thinking like, yo, such and such really, really loved me. And maybe I should have got with them and, settled down. And then I probably would have had this, or we would have done that, and blah, 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 blah. It's easy to think that way. And while you're thinking that way, it's easy to think that you made a mess of your life. Hey, yo.
Yo, man. Yo. Man, I just fucked up my life, man. I made a whole mess of my life, bro.
Man, you done made a mess of your life, man?
Yeah, man. I should have called it earlier, man. I fucked my whole life because I ain't calling the show earlier. But I did call it, though.
Yeah.
I did call it.
I don't know if that cleans up that mess you made in your life, man.
Dude, I'm sorry, man. My apologies.
It's all good.
Hopefully I can clean this mess up.
Oh, man.
Yow. What's going on, man?
Man, everything is good. I'm feeling like a real man should.
And as you should, and as you shall be.
So, yeah,
bro. Thought I'd call in. I know I'm a little behind time, but ain't no time but the best time. Plus, I turned on the TV and I see you spitting, spitting hot fire. And I was like, God damn. That was 93, 95?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That was some stank.
I used to drop it like, since I become immense, tense feeling surface, I feel tense when I get, wait a minute. Since I become immense, tense feeling surface, I make sense to those that's dense, but I'm not nervous. When my service is rendered, I collect tender that's legal, and I can fly high like an eagle. People brag about famous people they know, but you ain't never gotta be a star to be at my show, because I know things easily gotten assumed laws, and even Diana Ross know what it's like not to be the boss no more. I know for sure if I wait and delay my gratification, my shit to be straight, and I hate to see the effects of those who had to rush until their cup was over full to the brim, just like a lust, and I must crush the head of the snake before he bite me, because the venom just might put out my lights. But it ain't likely that I put a down payment on a farm before I cause harm. I still have plenty of followers because I got charm, style, and grace, ability, skill, and good taste. Plus, it won't take long to come up because my life ain't in a waste. Face the truth. I'm rugged and rude, but my erection is, my affection is protection. So niggas can't knock out my tooth. Proof that I'm living right is social status. Before black men couldn't come out at night, it was the saddest thing I ever really seen in my life. In 94, now we got a black president. What the fuck for? You're now tuned in to Revolution 2000. Whitey still on the station, so turn back to your public housing. Dial where you can get high and act wild. America's Most Wanted is watching. There's the camera. Smile. If you ever feel unwanted, just try jail. Whether you're whether you swift as a stealth or slow and slimy like a snail, they got room for you. Matter of fact, you and your friends just exercise your survival technique and turn yourself in to the nearest precinct. We call them pigs, but it seems like we stink not the smell of success, but the stench of the clink. Brink of destruction is what I ponder. They sell a mom's apple pie and American dreams over yonder. And a tiny little container called a vial. You might get it next door or have to walk a crooked mile, but I'll pass because I know it's a sin. So many players in the drug game knowing they can't win. I begin to think and study my history. How can you be a player when you never scored a victory? Asking for something for nothing simply ain't fair. It's like the gold at the end of the rainbow. It ain't there. Will never be another love the shoe fits. Life is a bowl of cherry, but ghetto living's the pits. When you lose your wits, breakups and splits can turn your day from sugar to shit, even asses and tits. Couldn't give your dick a lift and make it stay stiff. Now do you want to be a Rambo or do you want to riff? Life is great is this phrase that could relate to. All right, anyway, go ahead, man. Yeah, I mean.
So So we going independent, or we going to try to sign with with a label?
I'm just saying, you could tell that I wrote that in '94. You know what I mean? That's what we was doing. So, you know.
No, I'm talking about now. Do you want to go independent, or you want?
I may actually, for real, be too old to be a new artist now. But it ain't like I ain't never think of it. Like, what if
we gonna sign you to the Delphine Stylistics record company?
I'd be like, look, I'd be the first 55-year-old rapper to just come out and not on the old school show. Like, or be the first brand new rapper to come out and be on the old school show at the same time. Like, yo, I'm going on tour with Kane and them. I only got one song. Oh man.
Can you imagine you hit it big and then we gotta do the music show, me, you, and Kels of our one-hit wonders?
Hey, that's some shit. I'll take it. Do you know what I would do for that one hit? What? Like what? Say what? They still playing that shit? What? Are you kidding me? You know what I mean? Are you kidding me? But let me ask you this. Have you ever been in the space where you felt like you made a mess of your life?
I mean, we all have experiences that from when you was a young adult to an adult, and even to now, you always feel as though you done made a mockery of your life, man. I mean, when I had my first child, I thought that I had made a mess of my life, but then I turned back around, and I was like, no, that's because sometimes you got to realize what God's plan is for. If it wasn't meant to happen, you wouldn't have them. My mom always taught me that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that just means that I had to work harder. So I mean, even back in the '90s, before I started doing comedy in the 2000s, I wanted to do it like in '96, '97. And then when it got to the point of my depression getting to the point where I needed something to preoccupy me before I done something stupid, had I did that back in the 96, 97, who knows? And that was at the time when, the Kevin Hart's was out and everybody was blowing up, and, who knows what would have been and what could have been had I put the work in. Because at that time, I mean, when me and you was doing time, we was putting some heavy work in. We was hitting stage after stage, out the city, in the city. I mean, who knows what could have been. Even up to now, and I always say, should I get back into it? What should I do? And this, that, and other. So, I mean, there's always parts of my life where it's a shoulda, woulda, coulda, and where did I make a mess of it at? Like even with my circumstances right now, and I feel like I done made a mess of it because, I mean, had I wasn't rushing to go in the kitchen to put the pots down, I wouldn't have messed my knee up. If hindsight was 20/20, I mean, shit, who knows? Just think about it like that. Mm-hmm. You think about how things could have been and what should have, would have, could have been, but then you grow from the mistakes that you made to become something better, or to make something better yourself. So I mean, however you justify the things that you've done and what you should have done, what you're doing now, you have to put that in your mind of, hey, it could have been worse.
Yeah, but I'm thinking like making a mess of your life or done made a mess of your life is more than just making a bad decision or whatever. It's like it feels more like the sum of all your bad decisions have led you to this place that you can't get your way out of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if I ever had to do years in jail, I would feel like I made a mess of my life. Because I'm like,
can you imagine though? Go ahead, sir.
I could imagine. You know what I mean? Because you never know. You never know. Like if you get angry at somebody or protect somebody or whatever, you could wind up staring down the barrel of 20 years. And it was like, so you came this far to end up in that situation?
Yeah.
It would be hard not to look at it like I done made a mess of my life in one fell swoop. But more than likely, there were other circumstances that led up to that decision. It probably wasn't a one-off. It wasn't one of those things where you just woke up that day and by chance it happened. You were probably on your road to doing. It's like being on drugs. It ain't that one instance of drug use that fucked your shit up. It was the fact that you wouldn't let it go. Now, if you anything like me, all the crackheads I know was healthy or so when they was smoking. Soon as they got clean, diabetes, liver problems, cancer, HIV, all of that shit. They wasn't getting. None of that shit was happening with, or affecting them when they was getting high. Now they clean. Now they got to deal with the fallout of sobriety.
Right.
Because they done made a mess of their lives, even though now they clean. Now you're a clean mess.
You know, I mean, just like with these young people today, they never sit back. They don't understand the mess of their life they make until they're in that sweat box getting ready to get sent upstate and being charged with life without the possibility. You know what I mean?
See, young boys can't be counted on to understand the gravity of their actions. They don't know yet. But somebody that's over 30, over 40 years old, that shit's gonna hit hard. Because you ain't got 20 years to spare.
That's the truth.
That shit ain't sweet.
Yeah, that's the truth.
You done been free. Now, motherfuckers that big in and out of jail their whole life, 5 years here, 7 years there, a year and a half there, violating parole, gotta go back, finish out a sentence 3 years. You know what I mean? That's different. They done fucked up their whole life. They done made a mess of their lives their whole lives.
And that goes to the circumstances, and I'm not trying to get off subject, but it's a subject that's something similar to that. Like the situation with the boy Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane. You know, the boy Pooh Shiesty had just made a mess of his life by trying to do something stupid. You know what I mean? And then you got the boy Gucci Mane. They calling him a snitch, but things that you said you wouldn't do when you was 25. You ain't gonna do when you're in your 40s and you got a wife and kid and a business to run. So things change. You mature a lot. So now he's like, I'm not going out here going to. So now I'm not gonna make the same mess of my life that this boy made of his life. But they gonna call me a snitch though. No, I call it a sense of maturity. I'm gonna grow up. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna move on from it. You know what I mean?
Gucci Mane gotta be close to 50 years old.
You know what I mean?
Let me see. Hold on. How old is Gucci Mane?
A 50-year-old man.
Hey, 46 years old. Maybe you'll get your dumb ass out the streets. The fuck I come home. Get your ass in the crib, nigga. I mean, you better go make some. Nigga, you need to be watching Netflix and eating some oatmeal. Protect your heart, bitch.
Look at night, looking at some old reruns, a Dick Van Dyke or something.
It's because of his ass, though. The way he rhymed, he the one gave these corny ass rappers the green light to rhyme like shit. He started that shit. They rhyme like him. Shit was ass.
Well, my fault, I got to throw another one in. Ass.
46 years old. Shit, he old enough to snitch. He ain't got no business running around worrying about nobody shooting you at 46 years old.
Yeah. And it's not the fact that he snitched. He could have rhymed out by snitching on him. That's what they call that.
I know, right?
That's beautiful.
Put out a drill track. Let me ask you this. Because we got this running question. I want to see what your answer is. Which one surprised you the most about having a drug problem? Michael Jackson or Prince when you found out?
Michael Jackson.
Okay. And how come?
Well, because I didn't suspect Michael Jackson having any type of illness or any type of mental illness. But I knew that there would be some type of stress level on that high altitude. You understand what I'm saying? But there was already words out there. There was already news outlets saying about Prince going through pain and going. I think they said, I know they didn't mention MS, but he was going through pains and everything because of all the dancing and the stress that he was putting on his legs. Because I remember Prince was dancing in heels. Prince was dancing in heels and doing all those splits and jumping up and down and doing all that shit. Mike had a flat surface, but also the thing about it is that you didn't know nothing about Mike behind the scene.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think Mike would get to the point where he couldn't sleep that much, that he needed, you know what I mean, something to try to go to sleep or something of that magnitude. And I don't even think it was that. I think that it was just an addiction. You know what I mean? I think that it was an addiction that he just couldn't kick. You know, he got so used to, he took it for one thing, because now first they were saying that he took it because of the burns he sustained on the Pepsi commercial. You know, but then it was other outlets and other situations, but nobody would never thought that about Mike. Nobody thought that he would OD off of something that he would his life would end like that. Prince, on the other hand, I just felt as though that, something like that would happen to him. Because he was on a lot of medicine for pain meds. And, I think they was talking about, he was going through stress fractures in his legs or going through pain in his back. That's why he thinking he was using a cane because it was stylish. No, he was using a cane because he was going through pain. A lot of people didn't know that. So I think that Prince, was more of more on the outskirts of doing. He was the bizarro Michael Jackson.
Okay.
And he put it. I think that he had certain demons that he was fighting, and he was doing his own thing. I think Mike was going through so much. You go through the depression because you go through everything. The shit that you was going through with the lawsuits about the kids. Then you losing your mind, dangling a baby while you are in the hotel. You know what I mean? So there's so much shit, that you go through, but you never thought that would happen to Mike.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. But looking back at it, it makes sense that he was on drugs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because how do you explain away his crazy?
Right.
I mean,
let me just ask you something though, right? It's not the fact that he was on drugs. He was on IV drugs. One of the highest, I can't pronounce it, propofol, that word.
It makes sense that he would take his drugs that way. It does. Because the motherfucker, he seemed like a medical type of person. He running around here with surgical mask all the way back in the 80s and shit, 80s and 90s. So we thinking that he a germaphobe. Meanwhile, he was high.
No, I think he was more intelligent. I think he knew COVID was coming before he came.
And he was taking the drugs to reduce the symptoms too.
Look, I'm telling y'all better wear masks. COVID is coming.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you that question because we was circulating that question around earlier in the show.
So which one did you choose?
I settled with Prince because every time I've seen Prince in an interview, he was always informative. He always answered. He always got his message across. He always was, he was articulate. You know what I mean? Like he knew exactly how to answer the question, and he always looked healthy. He looked clean. Michael Jackson never looked clean to me.
Right.
All them surgeries, changing your skin complexion, lying about it. Like we knew one thing we knew about Michael Jackson versus Prince is that Mike lied a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And he would lie in your face about this motherfucker tried to say he had vitiligo, and that's why motherfucker, everybody probably got somebody with vitiligo in their family or in their friend circle. Nobody went totally white that I know. Not overnight.
Mm-hmm.
This nigga black one day, he come back a month later white, and then tries to have children with a white woman. So, like, we should have knew Mike was getting high.
And them kids look nothing like him.
Because they ain't his. I will never accept that he has biological children. Ever. Ever. Because, like I said, he was a liar. It was like he wasn't capable of keeping it a buck.
And then he tried to, and the fucked up part is that it's funny because he named one of his kids Prince.
Ain't that some shit? Ain't that a motherfucking, yo. Out of all, I was like, oh, okay, this is what we doing. Yeah.
Maria. Well, I'd like you to say her name, Maria Ramirez. I like when you say it.
Oh, you mean Señorita Ramirez? Señorita Ramirez. Señorita Ramirez. Señorita Ramirez. Señorita.
Yeah, she said that. Yeah, I did say that the other day when we was on the phone, and I seen Blanket on TV. I said Blanket looked like him.
Blanket.
I mean,
you named your motherfucking child Blanket.
Yeah, Blanket.
And we know, and we don't suspect that he's on drugs. We must have been on drugs then.
I gotta reconsider my shit, man. I mean, shit. They was doing blue.
Michael was diabolical. But I wonder if he ever looked at his life like, I done made a mess of my life. But fuck it. I gotta keep going. I'm gonna make it a little bit more mess. No one will ever notice.
Wait. I made a mess of my life. It's off the wall.
As long as I don't say anything, they can never really prove that it's true.
Yeah.
I'm not a mess. They're a mess. And I'll prove it. I messed up my life. I messed up my life. Fucking Michael Jackson.
I don't know whether to laugh or cry.
Shit is crazy, man.
That's one of the most, every time I listen to that fucking song, it's one of the most indecisive songs that I ever heard in my life. She's out of my life. I don't know whether to laugh or cry. I don't know whether to live or die, but it cuts like a knife. She's out of my life.
If it made any sense, Michael Jackson should have wrote Trouble Man for Marvin Gaye. But let me ask you this, as we start to wind down. What person do you know of that made the biggest mess of their lives that you witnessed, or from your standpoint, your vantage point?
Well, the biggest people that I grew up with, from my vantage point, that made the mess of their lives are my brothers that I grew up with that got into the street pharmaceutical game that's no longer here with us. You know what I mean? They could have went a different route. It's maybe one or two that could have went a different route. I mean, that never had to do that, but they was well off, but wound up going in a different direction because they felt as though they wanted to be more street.
Right.
So, like us, the ones that I sit back and I say, how could you mess? How could you? We say you said that it's a bad decision. There's bad decisions, but them bad decisions can really mess your life up.
Yeah, a bunch of them. A bunch of bad decisions will lead you right down that bad road, man.
So when you, I mean, you know, the thing about it is that with making bad decisions, you know, it can get you killed, or how we say it in the community, our community, killed. Uh, it can get you locked up, you know, and then and making them bad decisions can making a bad decision to do a drug. I've had a young boy that was I'm cool with his brother, and his brother, the young boy, his younger brother, somebody slipped him a Mickey, and
Yeah.
he ain't been the same since. You know,
But at
he
least
slipped
he
him,
didn't make a but he didn't make a mess of his life. He got targeted.
no, but
Mm.
but he got targeted, but he was already out there doing some stupid stuff. Like,
But
once you
then
self
there's that
indulge
part.
yourself and doing certain things,
Yeah.
like drugs and
Like
everything, it
like
gets
that.
you to the point of doing other things. So even though when you was out there getting high, you didn't think about nobody doing nothing to you.
Right.
You was already out there getting high. You know what I
Facts.
mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
right now, like I can honestly sit on the phone with you, and I'm at age 56, and tell you I've never smoked weed in my life. I've been around people that smoked it. I caught contact by people smoking, but I've never put marijuana to my lips and smoked it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because always, that would be something that would be a bad decision on my behalf. Plus, you know, I've showed respect. I think I showed respect. That's one of the things I showed respect to the people that brought me up.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, making bad decisions, I think the ones that hurt me the most is the bad decisions that my brothers I grew up with and I'm not talking about blood brothers, but they
No,
my
I understand
brothers.
what you're saying. Yeah. I
You
got you.
the ones that made decisions to go out there and become part of the street pharmaceutical and got themselves unalived. Or got fucking damn everything I'm on TikTok got killed.
Yeah, I think that getting involved with drugs in any capacity is the easiest way to make a mess of your life. Because there's really
Yeah.
only there are only I, about three options that are going to come out of it, and
Yeah.
none of them are success. So
Yeah.
you're either gonna get killed, you're either gonna do mad time in jail, or you're gonna get strung out.
There you go.
You know, which can lead to
There's no other alternative there's no other alternative to that. You're
yeah,
not going to win. You're not going to. That's a lose, lose, lose all the way.
yeah. It was
You know what I mean?
watching my uncle struggle with a drug problem all his life that I knew him. You know, from just drinking and smoking weed as a teenager to eventually, you know, getting strung out on crack or whatever, finding it very, very hard to kick the habit. It always felt like he never really stopped all the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Until he physically couldn't do it anymore. And then, you know, he eventually he got cancer and he had cancer of the throat. Now, on my mom's side of the family, and this is my mom's youngest brother, and he was the youngest in the family. We can't smoke on that side. You know, the heart disease it's too like nobody gets away with smoking on my mom's side of the family. Nobody. You know what I'm saying? But my uncle was special. Like he was one of the smartest people I ever seen in my life. One of the smartest and most talented people I've ever known. But he dumbed it down constantly with his drug use. And he was an easy person to like. But it was like he could have went so far, but he made a mess of his life and he stayed right here. Right here. Imagine not
Mhm.
growing up in the projects, but relegating yourself to the quality of the project. Fucking crazy. And then, you know,
That's a deep concept. What you just said.
hell yeah. And I've seen it
Yeah.
live in the flesh. And then, you know, he died of throat cancer or a heart attack or whatever. He was alone when he passed. You know, so he was gone for a while before they even discovered the body. You know, a little bit of controversy around that. Not, no, foul play, but it's like how the hell, who didn't call? Who didn't? You know what I mean? It's not like he didn't have kids. He had 3.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they were active in his life. So, that shit crazy. I think it was a situation where one thought the other one checked on him, and the other one thought the other one checked on him, and nobody checked on him. You know what I mean? But he did. He made a mess of his life. He could only go down but so far because everybody on my mom's side of the family works. They wasn't none of them were groomed to be bums. So he could never fully reach bum status because he would work. But he got as close to it as he possibly could.
He got to the edge and said, you know what? No, let me walk back.
Man, he was on a tightrope, you know what I mean, between success and bum.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He just happened to fall. He just happened to
T-shirt.
He just had
the T-shirt have a tightrope there, have some feet there, and then have a tag right there that says success, and then have a tag right there that say bum, and put the feet closer to bum. You know what I mean? One feet inching towards bum and the other one inching towards success. It's a nice T-shirt right there, man. I always think of something, analogies that you can put on a T-shirt that a person would see and be like, you know what, that makes sense.
That's right. Go ahead, sketch it up.
Why you got this smile on your face on TV? Go ahead, sketch it up.
Fuck it. Yeah, I mean.
But yeah, man, that's the truth. You know, people, we always sit back and we say, but the thing about it is, we always got to live by the Frank Sinatra song sometime. I did it my way.
I think, I threw away that doing it your way ain't always the best way.
It might not be the best way, but you have to, because if you sit back and you start thinking about every week, like I always say to myself, it's times I should have been a millionaire had I just took the bull by the horn and tried to do things on my own. You know, so I messed my life up like that by anticipating that I need other people to be on board with what I'm doing. I fucked my life up like that. You know what I mean? I
think me and you look at making a mess of your life in 2 different ways.
Well, the reason why I look at it like that is that I think that it's other ways. There's a lot of ways you can individually mess your life up, or you can allow other people to mess your life up. But it all falls back to you messing your life up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I can sit back and I can be a follower and get involved with certain situations. Well, we going to the gas station. I'm gonna do this and just sit in the car and be the lookout or be the lookout for this. I'm following other people that's getting ready to do some crime, and they went in there and they robbed the store and they shot the clerk, and the clerk died. All of a sudden, I'm part of something. I allow people to mess my life up, but it falls back on me because I allowed that.
Right.
Now, if I went in there and I did it myself, still me.
Well, yeah, indulging in criminal behavior over a long period of time is a way of making a mess of your life. You know what I mean? Because here are the things that I would agree that would qualify you for done messing your life up. Being locked up for a long time, mess your life up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Being sick because of the things that you've done, the decisions that you've made, like drug use, or cigarette. Well, that's a drug. So I mean, like not taking care of yourself when you know that you have a family history or a personal history of a certain condition and allowing that to debilitate you. I would say that that's a form of messing your life up. You know, like where I would say you were on the fence about it is I look at somebody like Teddy Pendergrass or Christopher Reeve. I wouldn't necessarily say that they made a mess of their lives. They got into an accident. They had an accident. You know what I mean? I don't know for a fact that they were on the path to self-destruction. But the way that they both turned out, being quadriplegic and all of that shit, I'm sure both of them looked at it like, damn, like Christopher Reeve, like, damn, man, I shouldn't have rode that fucking horse. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna do something else. And I'm sure Teddy thought, like, damn, man, all this fucking controversy. I should have been fucking with this goddamn drag queen. And you know what I'm saying? Like,
I just was waiting for you to say it.
I'm sure that he thought about the decisions that he made, and he wasn't pleased with it. But I wouldn't say
personally, I think he should have just let it go because it looked like another love TKO.
Well, he did let it go. He let go of the motherfucking wheel, and you see how that turned out. The shit is crazy. But like I said, I don't know if I would call what they did making a mess of their life. But when you think about Whitney Houston, Whitney had chances. So she did kind of make a mess of her life, even though she never fell all the way off. But she made a mess. From our point of view, she should still be here.
It's not even that she made a mess of her life. She also made a mess of her daughter's life.
Well, I'm going to start with her. I think her daughter got it bad in both ways, and from two parents.
Yeah. You
know what I mean? But Whitney was very close with her daughter, and even though she may have let her daughter see some things that she probably shouldn't have. I can't be critical of the relationship that she had with her daughter because she loved the fuck out of her.
Right.
So I'm not gonna charge her with that. But yeah, I mean there's certain people that I know that I can honestly say made a mess of their lives, and they did. But that's my opinion. That's my vantage point. That's my point of view. It doesn't necessarily mean that they feel that way or that everybody feels that way. It's just like when you hear somebody say, I'm blessed, God woke me up this morning. Well, when you work in a hospital, you see a lot of people that God woke up in the morning, but they ain't exactly I wouldn't want to be in their position. You know what I'm saying? There are different ways to wake up. It ain't necessarily that you woke up, because death is not a curse. So how can being alive be a blessing? You got to have one before the other.
True.
So both of them are guaranteed. Life is guaranteed, and so is death. Yeah, it's not necessarily whether you wake up every morning, it's how that day is going to go. My blessing is that I get to come home from the hospital every day, and I don't take that blessing for granted, because God forbid I have to stay. So yeah, man, when you talk about making a mess of your life, it can be very subjective, because from a personal standpoint, we may have all felt like we made a mess of our lives, and not necessarily because of the decisions that we made in or against our favor. Like, for example, you can get into a bad relationship with somebody.
You know what, man? You must have read my damn mind, because I was just getting ready to say that.
Hey, man, like sometimes, believing in people and helping people out and giving people the benefit of the doubt can fuck around and mess your shit up. And like you were saying before, it's not about whether you followed or whatever, but love will take you. Sometimes love will take you there.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, we had plenty of times, plenty of opportunities to get out of situations or get away from people, and we decided to stay. They gave us reasons to stay, or they gave us reasons to give them another shot. We may have been conditioned to work with people instead of throwing them away.
And also, not even just that, you made excuses to stay for them. They didn't have to just give you reasons. You made the excuse for them.
Man, listen, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, but I hear women say all the time, I mean, I I wasted 5 years of my life. I wasted 10 years of my life. I could have been doing this. I could have been doing that. You don't know what you could have been doing. You only know what you did do. And maybe you feel like that made a mess of your life. I can't judge that one way or another, but our present is the sum of our decisions of in the past.
and
Now,
you up here spitting wisdom like a old grandma, and old grandpa in a wheelchair, in a rocking chair, on a on a rocking chair down south,
yeah,
teaching these great grandkids.
but it is, and
It is. I'm just commending you on the
yeah,
words that you speaking. You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, this the easy math for real, for real. But we have to get over ourselves a lot of times in life. We gotta fucking get over ourselves. Because sometimes we spend too much time trying to point the finger at somebody else or something else and everything except for ourselves and our contribution to our situation or our contribution to our condition. But we contributed to that shit.
Yeah.
There were plenty of forks in the road. And we chose to go the direction that we chose to go. Well, now we gotta deal with it. Yeah.
That's the truth.
Man, these public figures out here, these celebrities and shit like that. And whenever they get in some trouble or some scandalous situation where they're getting all this negative publicity and negative press and all of that, and the first thing they want to say is, please respect our privacy. Or, I'm just a regular person like anybody else. Like, but when you were using the media to come up and to get money and to showcase and highlight what you were doing, you didn't tell nobody to stay out of your business. You didn't tell nobody to respect your privacy then. You was in front of the camera shaking your ass or pulling your clothes off like Lizzo. But now you dealing with some shit that actually has pulled your shame chain, and now is respect my privacy. Well, I'm just a person just like everybody else. I have feelings just like everybody else. Nah, you know what I mean? Tell them to stay out of your business when you on your way up. Don't wait until you on your way down, because you ain't got a chance of keeping them out of your business then.
Right.
But you made your decision. It's okay. We all go through a little rough patch where we might be feeling like we made a mess of our lives. But if you got the good stuff in you, and more than likely you do, you'll right the ship. You'll get back on the right track. You'll fix it.
Yeah, but don't second guess the decision after the fact. You already made it. Ain't nothing you can do about it. You can't renege a decision after you made that decision. I mean, you can't do it. Ain't no way you can fall back on it. Once you go through with the decision you made, and however you made that mess in your life, you already know it's done. Like, I'm gonna give you for instance. I'm pretty sure you've seen it on TV. The accident that happened down on Walnut Street when the Rango Charger T-boned the car.
Yeah.
Just think about you Humdy Dumbling in your car with your dog, and you following the laws of the light, and the person in the Charger just hit the hell out of you to kill you and your dog.
Yeah.
And those 3 people are going home safe. They're going home with bumps and bruises, but yet they had to tow the car with the person and the dog in the car.
Yeah.
Because that's how bad the car was mangled up.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, the decision that these three imbeciles or whoever the driver was made, they messed up his life.
Mm-hmm.
And by the grace of God, didn't destroy them by killing off all three of them or even one of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is the things that people don't understand that you wish that the younger generation look at and take notice of. Because when we were growing up, sometimes our generation, we would look at things and say, I'm not going to do that. This generation don't care. They going to still. He was driving a Charger that fast. And the only thing he had to do was just wait for the other car to go by real quick. He should have slowed down. So I would have still been driving my Charger. You would have made excuses to keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? So the thing about it is that when I sit back and I think about the messes that I made in my life and that what did I do to fix it? I think I made the right choices to fix it, but I wish I didn't make the mess in the first place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do know what you're saying.
Like it was a choice for you to stop writing your rhymes and stop doing the rap part. But it was a mess because who know what could have been? Who know what you could have led to, or how great you could have been?
That was a bad decision. It was a bad decision. Like because it wasn't like I was losing money or anything like that by still going. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that was me taking control of my own self and not asking nobody else. And I should have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I should have. Now the question is, was I in the condition to listen? Because I don't know. I'm pretty good at standing on what I think is right or what I believe, or you know, I'm not very wishy-washy when it comes to certain shit.
You know, like, and that's the whole thing about it. You know, you listen to what you feel as though can be beneficial to you. You know what I mean? And even if you do get the right answer and you get the right wisdom and knowledge from that person, it doesn't mean shit because it's gonna be you that's gotta make that decision.
Right.
It don't mean nothing. You can sit up here and tell me till I'm blue in the face about relationships, money, anything. But it still falls on me to say, you know, I can sit on the phone and say, you're right. And you're 1,000% right. But it still falls on me to make that decision.
Facts. Yo, let's go to this poll question. All right. What's the worst way to mess up your life for your later years? What's the worst way to mess up your life for your later years? So we're talking about like when you get older, if you manage to get older, what decisions could you have made when you were younger that could have the most devastating effects? All right, so 27% says prolonged drug abuse while young. Another 27% said never settling down with anyone. Interesting. The biggest percentage, which is 33%, said spending a lot of time in jail. And only 13% said never working a job with benefits. Wow, I'm surprised about that. Because never working a job with benefits can really fuck shit up for you later on, boy.
Yeah.
But that's if you make it to senior citizen status. If you don't make it then, you know, you might be all right. But when you get to the point where you got to work when you all the way in your 70s or you just you always worked under the table or hustled or whatever, you never really established anything that was going to pay you, you know, to keep you going in your later years, you be thinking about like, maybe I should have took that union job. This shit is fucked up right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that kind of, to me, that's that says a little bit about the demographic of who may have answered those questions. Because when you're younger, you don't think about what's going to happen when you get older.
Listen, and that's the fucked up part about, we all fall under the things that this generation do. Our elders would tell us things about how it's going to be when we get older, and we brush that shit off. And then when we get older, we try to tell the next generation what to do, and then they brush that shit off. And then we get mad at them because they didn't listen to us, and our elders got mad at us because we didn't listen to them. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. If the generations come together and just learn to listen to your elders and learn to understand that we lived the life that we live and we made it through it. Somebody asked me, they say, well, Troy, you grew up in the area you grew up in. How you make it through there? First thing I tell them is my mom's prayers. That's number one. And number two, I developed a conscious and a not following conscious to not be part of everything that everybody's doing. I knew when to fall back. I knew when not to mess my life up. I knew not to become part of the drug game, and my friends didn't allow me to become part of the drug game. Plus I had a mom that didn't give a fuck, that would tell everything.
Respect comes in different forms, man.
Hey, my mom knew how to spit lyrics, boy. She dropped bars.
All right, man, we gotta get out of here. We
all day, bro. You look, man. I'ma always tell you this, man. I'ma say it out loud to the chat. Love you, man. All day, you my brother from another mother. And enjoy your day. Chat, everybody in the chat. Much love to everybody. Be blessed, be safe, enjoy your day.
One love, Troy. Have a good one. I'll talk to you in a little while.
All right, fam.
Peace. My brother Try, the one them called Try. The one them called Try in the house. We're going to do these birthday shout outs, and then I'm going to let you good people get on with the rest of your day. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious April 18th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special because they are special because they are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They get number one out the box, Julie Brunson. And also Johanna Martinez and Anisha Ebony Robinson, Kimberly C. Henry, Marantha Pierre, Precious Sezi, Osborne Abril Osborne. And last but not least, Lady Karma. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious April 18th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn to rock out. Rock on and do the damn rock out. Rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, life decisions will make decisions that you are in look like it has no precision. But you know that the decision is something you gotta make, and sometimes you get the bullshit in the cake. And the cake is what you're looking for, but the icing might not be as spicy as you liking. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna take care of everything today. Hey, I'm here, you're here too. So what have you had your life come to? How has it amounted? Have you counted up the cost? Do you feel like everything you've done is a loss? Hope you don't feel that way, because you know you've had victories. Yeah, I see you right here sitting with me. Everything is going to turn out good. Is understand is understood. That's my word. Would you have made a different decision before? You can say that right now, but you're going for more. And the tour is what I just came back from, and I'm going back. It's going to be all right, son. Yo, y'all have a great day going forward. And I think that I sure would make sure that I make things best for my kin, and we can all win. Yo, peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. Love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow afternoon, 2 p.m. in the a.m. So make sure that y'all come on through. Hit the like button before y'all get on up out of here. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. And I will holler back. I hope y'all enjoyed listening to the show as much as I enjoyed broadcasting it. I holla. Peace.